Hi everyone, John Sowash here, and in this video I'm going to show you how I set up my Google Classroom course for remote learning. Now, due to the coronavirus epidemic and school shutdown, a lot of us are teaching in situations that we didn't sign up for or didn't anticipate, but here we are. My goal in this video is to give you some tips and strategies to help you adjust and adapt to teaching online from home. There are some very specific things that I did to my Google Classroom course to help ease the transition from a traditional to an online class. Now, the interesting thing is that a lot of the recommendations that I'm going to be sharing in this video are the exact opposite of things that I've recommended in previous videos when you're setting up your course at the beginning of the school year for a traditional setting. Online teaching is very, very different than teaching in a face-to-face classroom. And as a result, how I set up my Google Classroom course is quite a bit different as well. Now, not all of the tips that I'll share with you may be perfect for your situation. I'll do my best to kind of talk through some of the nuances and help you make an informed decision about how you set up and create your courses. Let's go into Google Classroom and take a look. Now, here I am on the home screen of my course, and we're going to be looking at this course right here, which is my online course for English 10. But the first thing I'm going to say is that I created a brand new course just for teaching online. So I am not reusing my old course, the one that I was using. I am using a brand new one that is specifically set up for online learning. Temporarily, you can archive your old course. So we're going to go to the snowman and click the archive button. That will eliminate any confusion from your students of going into the old class, looking at old assignments. We're totally starting over, basically. And so I'm creating a brand new course to set it up. I don't want to mess with my old assignments. I don't want students going back to try to turn in old assignments. I have new class procedures, new class policies. Basically, I'm scrapping or temporarily pausing all of my old stuff and designing a new course for online learning. Now, I recognize that may not work for everyone, but that's what I did. I came to the conclusion that it was easier to start over than it was to try to fix my old Google Classroom course that I was teaching in face-to-face classroom. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the course, and I'll show you some things that I did to optimize it. I'm actually going to come back to the stream in a little bit. I'm going to go straight to the classwork page. One of the big things that I did when I created my online learning course was that I reorganized my topics. When I use Google Classroom in a regular class, I typically create topics by unit. So Unit 1, Unit 2, and all through the year. Through online learning, you'll see that I reorganize my content by week. So week 1, there are the assignments. Week 2, there are the assignments. And I'm going to continue doing this until the quarantine ends or the school year is over, whichever comes first. Now, again, very different than in my face-to-face class, I am posting all of my assignments for the week on Monday. So Monday morning, everything gets posted and students can complete them at their own pace. So they can do it all in one day. They can pick away at it throughout the entire week. That's very different than what I was doing in my regular class. I would just post the assignment at the beginning of the class period with not that much instructions, and I would verbally instruct my students of how to complete that assignment. This has to be much more self-paced and self-directed, so my instructions are a lot more detailed. You'll see that in here in a minute. And so again, the structure was so different from my face-to-face that I decided to create a whole new class. So that's one big thing. First, I created a new class. Secondly, organizing my content by topics. I also have this important links and resources topic at the top that just gives some important things that students can use regularly. So a link to the digital textbook, or in my case, the novel that we're reading, access to some study tools like Quizlet. If students need to meet with me one-on-one, I have a Hangout link for my calendar, and so this allows students to pick one of my office hour times. That's all posted right there at the top, and then you can see the weekly thing. So I've got week 1 was last week. We're finished with that. Right now we're in week 2. Week 3 is there. I just haven't posted it yet. Another thing that I'm not doing is I'm not posting things in advance. You'll have some kids that will just race on through and complete your whole course in the first week. So I post 1 week's worth of assignments at the beginning Monday, and they're all due on Friday. Those are my due dates. So week 3 is in draft form. I'll schedule that and get that posted later this week. Now, another thing that I'm going to recommend, I'm going to switch over to the People tab here. And this, again, is not going to work for everyone. It really is going to depend on what direction your school has given you. When I teach normally, I will teach multiple sections of the same course. I might teach 2 to 4 sections of this class. Not right now. So right now, I'm combining all of my students into one section. I don't typically recommend that in a traditional classroom because you want to be able to communicate with the students who physically enter your classroom. So you got 30 kids in first hour, you want those 30 kids in a class. With an online course, there are no class times, there's no periods, there's no bell schedule. So there's not as much of an incentive to maintain those section divisions. And actually, when it comes to grading, giving feedback, monitoring student comments, answering questions, splitting your class into sections is more work for you because you have to go into 3, 4 separate courses to respond to those questions, to grade the assignments. Putting them all in one class is going to save you a lot of time over the long run. I can post an assignment and schedule it for everyone. If you have multiple sections, you have to go to each individual class to schedule it. Now, there is one important disclaimer for this, and this gets back to your school's policy related to grades. If your school district is asking you to continue to maintain grades as you have done in the past, then you may still need to split your students into sections. If you have to transcribe your grades into PowerSchool or Skyward or one of the other grading systems, having your class list in Google Classroom match your grade book in whatever tool you use is beneficial. Now, for the duration of the school shutdown, have decided to maintain my grades in Google Classroom only. So I'm grading everything, posting grades in Google Classroom. My school is still trying to figure out what we're going to do with grades, how those are going to be reported. There's several strategies here. I'm going to maintain my grades in Google Classroom. One option that schools might consider would be to post a weekly grade into your Skyward PowerSchool gradebook that just says online learning grade. And that single assignment would be the cumulative total of the past week's work. That would again be less work for the teacher. They do all the grading in Google Classroom and report that single grade into the gradebook. You could also do that at the end of this online learning period, whether it's 3 weeks or 2 months, the rest of the school year, we still don't know. But perhaps a school could say, hey, do all of your grades however you want, paper, Google Classroom. Eventually, you need to post the student's grade into our official grade book for reporting to the state, for creating report cards, transcripts, things like that. But we don't need to see the details of every single assignment in that, that digital grade book. I don't know what your school is going to do. You should ask them, get clarification. But I'm recommending, if you have the ability, put all your students into one section. It'll save you a lot of time in the long run as you're grading, answering questions, responding to comments in the class. So that's another thing that I'm doing. So one class, a new class for my online course, organizing my content by topics, by week, putting all of my students in one section. Those are 3 big changes that I've made to my online courses. Let me kind of go into some more details now. I'm going to actually go back to the stream and show you a couple of things. So one thing that I have done, and I've made some videos and commented on this in the past, I have turned off the posting of assignments to the stream. So I use the stream for announcements and kind of community building posts, and then all of the actual classwork and assignments go into the classwork page in Google Classroom. You go into your settings and you can disable posting of assignments to the stream if you want to match what I do. Now, typically, again, in my face-to-face class, I recommend that teachers disable the ability for students to post And frequently, teachers also disable the ability for students to comment in Google Classroom. Now, we are in unprecedented times. We no longer have that daily face-to-face interaction with our students, and so I am leaving on both posting and commenting for my class. That allows students to post to the stream and use that as kind of a community discussion board. I think of the stream as kind of the hallway of my classroom. We chit chat, we share, we just kind of talk in the stream, in the hallway, and then when we want to be serious and get to work, we go into the classwork page. So I'll show you a couple things that are posted here. Over the weekend, I was outside with my kids and we built a fort, so I posted that and I shared a little picture of the fort that we built, and you can see some of the class comments that are there. Peter posted earlier that he's looking for a TV movie series to watch, and you've got some class comments there as well. And then my announcements also. So it's up to you if you want to leave that on, leave that off. I have heard feedback from quite a few teachers that are saying that this is kind of the lifeline for students right now because they cannot interact in a face-to-face. This is the best we've got. If you're not comfortable with students posting, I get it. You can disable that, but still leave the commenting feature on. Some teachers are posting just kind of a daily or every other day a serious discussion question, posting that to the stream, and students will comment. So you could start the discussion and allow students to continue it. Everything is tracked in Google Classroom, so it says the student's name. You can go in and delete a comment if it's inappropriate or you're not comfortable with it. If a student is continually kind of abusing this privilege, you can mute that student and they will no longer be able to post and comment to the course. You can disable it for everyone, or you can disable it just for an individual student. So we got a lot of controls. I would encourage you, again, for this online learning scenario, to leave commenting and posting enabled for your class. So that's the fourth big change that I've made to my Google Classroom. The fifth one is just kind of a general one. Again, because we're missing that face-to-face interaction with our students, I want to encourage you to make your face as visible as possible in your Google Classroom course. Now, some of you are not going to be comfortable with this because you don't like appearing on camera, doing video. And I get it. I understand it does take quite a while to get used to, but your students want to see you. They want to see you on camera. They want to see photos of you. They want to feel like they are still in your class. I'm going to give you some specific examples of how I've done that. The first thing you can see right at the top here is that I'm using my Bitmoji in my class cover photo. Now, Canva has some templates for this. That's where I designed this one. Super easy. Just throw some fun Bitmoji up in your class header. Secondly, we already looked at this, but I'm posting pictures of my family, my life. Like, what does quarantine look like for me? What am I doing? Because I can't be at school. So posting some photos of you, your family, as you feel comfortable doing so, to the stream, just to let your students know, hey, I'm in this with you as well. The third thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the classwork page now. We'll take a look at the assignments. Each week, like I mentioned, I post the assignments for the entire week. I begin by sharing a video intro that reviews the assignment. So this is a video I recorded with Screencastify. That allows me to record my screen and then also to record my webcam, which you'll see in the bottom right corner. So I'll just play a few seconds of this while I explain.
Welcome to week one.
Let me mute that. So I'm just reviewing the week's topics, the week's assignments, but I'm doing that on video, almost like they had just walked into my class and I'm saying, hey guys, today we're going to be working on so-and-so. Very short. This one here is 3 minutes long. It gives me a chance to be very informal and say, hey, I know there's some trouble. I'm learning this. We're figuring this out together. But again, they see you on camera and it kind of feels as much as you can like you're teaching the class again. So each week I begin with that kind of an assignment. I record that with Screencastify, post that into the class. The students are the only ones who can see that. It's not posted anywhere else. And I use that as a material post at the very top, and then the 3 assignments down below. So that was the week 2 intro. Again, I use the Bitmoji a lot to add feedback. I use Bitmoji as digital stickers. photos of myself, and then Screencastify with the webcam turned on to, again, get my face, my voice into the course. That's how I am using Google Classroom in this remote learning situation. Quite a bit different than how I use it in the traditional classroom. Hopefully those tips will help you. I'll leave some links in the description for the video with some additional resources and ideas for you to consider. I hope you enjoyed this tour. Good luck as you teach your classes.